How on earth could the future of AI belong not to the tech giants like Google and OpenAI, but to a scrappy $15 million startup that's fundamentally reimagining how AI models get built? Today, we're diving deep into Prime Intellect, a company that's attempting nothing less than a complete transformation of AI development, and their latest model, Intellect 3, might just be the breakthrough that changes everything. Let's start with the problem. Right now, the AI world is effectively split into two camps. On one side, you have closed, proprietary models from American tech giants like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. On the other, you have open-source Chinese offerings like DeepSeek, which shocked the industry in January of this year with its capable, low-cost reasoning model. When DeepSeek launched, it literally wiped billions off the market value of major US tech companies overnight. That's not just impressive, it's a wake-up call. But here's where it gets interesting. Prime Intellect's CEO, Vincent Weiser, sees this binary choice as a problem. Why should the world be forced to pick between closed American systems or open Chinese alternatives? His solution is radical. Democratize AI development entirely by letting anyone, anywhere participate in building frontier models. And that's exactly what they're doing with Intellect 3. So how does this actually work? It's all about reinforcement learning, and more specifically, distributed reinforcement learning. Now, if your eyes are glazing over at the technical jargon, stick with me, because this is actually revolutionary. Think about how today's best AI models work. Companies like OpenAI don't just train their models on massive data sets and call it a day. After that initial training, they use reinforcement learning to fine-tune the model, making it better at specific tasks. Want your AI to excel at mathematics? Have it practice solving math problems over and over in an environment where it can measure success and failure, adjusting itself each time to improve. The catch is that reinforcement learning has been locked behind closed doors at big tech companies. It requires massive expertise, expensive infrastructure, and resources that most companies and developers simply don't have access to. So these reinforcement learning environments have become the bottleneck to scaling AI capabilities. But Prime Intellect is changing that equation entirely. Here's the genius of their approach. They've created a framework that lets anyone create customized reinforcement learning environments for specific tasks. Imagine a researcher somewhere who wants to train an AI to be exceptional at solving Wordle puzzles. With Prime Intellect's system, they can create that environment, spin up some GPUs, and watch the model practice and improve. But Intellect 3 isn't relying on just one environment or one team's efforts. Prime Intellect is combining the best reinforcement learning environments created by both their own team and the broader community to tune this model. It's crowdsourced excellence, and the implications are staggering. None other than Andrej Karpathy, an OpenAI co-founder and the former head of Tesla AI, is now an investor in Prime Intellect. He described its approach as one that could enable open-source researchers to adapt environments to new tasks and improve models in ways we haven't even imagined yet. Now, to understand why Intellect 3 matters so much, we need to look at how Prime Intellect got here. The company was founded in 2024 with a bold mission: to build infrastructure for decentralized AI development at scale. Their approach reduces how frequently GPUs need to communicate with each other during training, which has profound implications. It means you can train models using hardware scattered across different locations, different continents even, without the massive communication overhead that normally makes this impossible. In October 2024, the company first released Intellect 1, a 10 billion parameter model that was the first of its kind, trained in a truly distributed manner. Training took 42 days across 3 continents and 5 countries, with GPU resources sourced from both traditional providers and cryptocurrency GPU marketplaces. The model achieved 83% utilization across all compute, which is remarkable when you consider these machines were spread across the globe. Jack Clark, co-founder of Anthropic, praised it as a viable demonstration of decentralized training. And that validation from one of the industry's most respected figures showed that Prime Intellect was onto something real. In February, Prime Intellect introduced Protocol, a peer-to-peer network that ties together all their training tools. This includes their Prime Training Framework, which allows compute to drop in and out of training runs on the fly, a synthetic data generation library called Genesis, and verification systems to ensure participating nodes are contributing legitimate work. It's a complete ecosystem for decentralized AI development. Then in April 2025 came Intellect 2, a 32 billion parameter reasoning model. Unlike Intellect 1, which focused on foundational training, Intellect 2 used reinforcement learning on top of Alibaba's existing QWQ model. They introduced Prime RL, a fully asynchronous reinforcement learning framework, and Shardcast, a system for quickly distributing large files across the network. Contributors even had to stake testnet crypto tokens to participate, getting rewarded for valid work or penalized for invalid contributions. While no real money was involved, it demonstrated how crypto economic incentives could eventually secure and coordinate decentralized AI development. All of this brings us to Intellect 3, which represents the culmination of everything Prime Intellect has learned. By opening up reinforcement learning environments to the community, they're not just training another model. They're proving that competitive, frontier-level artificial intelligence can be built without relying on big tech infrastructure. It's almost like the US is out of options when it comes to open frontier models, and changing that is exactly what Prime Intellect aims to do. The broader implications here are profound. Right now, the AI industry is betting big on these reinforcement learning environments. According to reports, Anthropic's leadership has discussed spending more than $1 billion on RL environments over the next year, and major data labeling companies like Scale AI, Surge, and Mercor are all racing to build these environments. But there's skepticism too. Some researchers worry about reward hacking, where AI models learn to cheat the system to get rewards without actually completing tasks properly. Others question whether reinforcement learning environments will scale the way previous AI training methods have. Yet what Prime Intellect offers goes beyond just technical innovation. It's a vision for AI development that isn't concentrated in the hands of a few massive corporations. What if one party owned all this intelligence, this thing that could potentially change all our lives drastically? What if they could outsmart anything or anyone? Those are scary questions, and decentralized AI development offers a different path forward. The startup has raised over $15 million from investors, including Founders Fund and Protocol Labs, and their ultimate North Star is developing open-source artificial general intelligence. That's ambitious, perhaps audaciously so. But if their track record with Intellect 1 and Intellect 2 is any indication, they're making real progress. What Prime Intellect is proving is that innovation in AI doesn't require the biggest budget or the most GPUs. It requires clever engineering, community collaboration, and a willingness to challenge assumptions about how AI development must work. Whether they succeed in their ultimate vision remains to be seen. But Intellect 3 and their approach to distributed reinforcement learning represents something genuinely new in the AI landscape. The question isn't whether Prime Intellect can compete with tech giants on resources, because they can't. The question is whether they can make those resources irrelevant by fundamentally changing the game. And based on what we've seen so far, they just might pull it off. What do you think their chances are? Drop a comment below and subscribe for more tech insights.